Widden Stud has an enviable record not only as Australia's longest family-owned stud operation, but also for the number of star sprinters it stood as stallions who've shaped generations of racetrack stars. In 2022, Widden welcomes the son of deep field, Portland Sky, a rare 3-year-old colt who beat the older sprinters in the time-honoured Group 1 Oakleigh Plate. Antony, we're here, it's, pretty chilly and in midwinter, but it's not long till spring, and it's really exciting, coming through from Widden Stud, nature strip by your own Nakoni, winning over there at Royal Ascot, and you were over there. There's been so much happening since we last had, the Autumn Carnival.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic time for Widden, obviously a very big year for us, and a real highlight to see nature strip, all the Aussies back at Ascot, and our very own nature strip represent the whole industry so well, and yeah, a real thrill. Everyone in Europe was so pleased to see international competition back, and certainly all the Aussies there in force I think was a real highlight. That's just wonderful for everyone in the Australian industry to be so well represented on such a large international stage.
But Portland Sky driven out, led by a length, Bella Nipotina.
Well, we're looking at a real colonial bred stallion here, your new first season sire in 2022 in Portland Sky. He's just a magnificent looking horse, isn't he? And a son of deep field, so he's doing so well as a sire. It's great to see the same sort of physique being passed on through his young sire son.
Yeah, Caroline, he's a very exciting horse for us. Certainly what works at Widden historically has been the Group 1 colonial sprinters. Horses like Portland Sky, a very good looking horse. He's a magnificent physique. He really takes the eye. A lot of quality, a lot of speed. They're the horses that have served us so very well for such a long period of time. Not only did he win a Group 1, he did it as a 3-year-old against the older horses. Oakleigh Plate has a very proud tradition, and certainly the 3-year-old colts that can win it have gone on to be great stallions. We've seen, of course, Schnitzel, Fastnet Rock, Star Spangled Banner, those type of horses win as 3-year-old colts, beating the older horses and then go on to be, great stallions. And here in Portland Sky, we've got one that, hopefully can follow in their footsteps, and we certainly think he can.
Barkyard, Portland Sky, now Malcolm goes for the stick and it races clear.
Well, if we go back to the start with Portland Sky, and I think it's an interesting thing, really showing what he was like as a racehorse. I think people might not be aware of, he won on debut, and a lot of the top class stallions, that's what they do. They win their first start.
Yeah, impressive debut. Certainly Matt Laurie had a very high opinion of Portland Sky from the start. I know they'd knocked back some very substantial offers from Hong Kong leading into his race debut. And Matt and Connections, their belief was really justified, seeing him step out and winning so impressively at his first start time at the races, and I think is quite an inexperienced horse.
And in that first preparation, he won the Red Anchor Stakes, beating the wonderful filly Bella Nipotina. Well, she's won $1.7 million. So it was the start of, a really good campaign.
Yeah, to step up through the grades so quickly and to come into the Red Anchor Stakes, the most inexperienced runner in the race, and win, a really strong Group 3 race, beat Bella Nipotina. Right then you knew this is a really, really serious colt.
And of course in that campaign too, the next start he came back, he beat the Caulfield Guineas runner-up Asar and the Blue Diamond winner Tagaloa in the Manfred Stakes.
Portland Sky's taken the lead, went to the front, a wall chases.
And then the Oakleigh Plate Dead Heat is a win. He wasn't beaten, he's the winner of a Group 1, and they are the tough races, aren't they? As you said, the record of these sorts of colts in an Oakleigh Plate stands the test of time.
For a 3-year-old to beat the older horses in the Oakleigh Plate has been a great thing for particularly these colts. Schnitzel, Fastnet Rock, Star Spangled Banner, they're the sort of colts that have done it and gone on to be great stallions. For Portland Sky to put his hand up there, I think of his generation, he was the only colt to beat the older horses as a 3-year-old and win that big Group 1, and he certainly backed that form up again in the William Reid Weight for Age Group 1 and said, yep, genuine proper Group 1 horse, running second. He beat the Coolmore Quinella there, swots that in September run. The other 3 3-year-olds. Really delivered again, a big stage, only to be denied by top-class Group 1 sprinter in Masked Crusader.
You know, he won over $500,000. He's by Deep Field, who's getting some great stakes winners, and in particular we know he's going so well in Hong Kong with another Group 1 winner in Sky Field.
Deep Field has been a really terrific stallion. I think so successful, and everyone who's bred to him has had a great success with him as well. He stood at a similar sort of fee to Portland Sky when he was retired to stud, and you've seen you know, the growth and the success of Deep Field. Every breeder has got a good Deep Field story to tell, and I think Portland's in the same boat. A lot of those mares that have been to Deep Field, the breeders have bred a nice horse and had good success, are now coming back to Portland. And obviously Deep Field's fees increased to $88,000 now. For the guys who were looking in that 20 grand range when they were breeding to Deep Field, it puts Portland well within their reach. Hopefully they can have as much success as I've had with Deep Field breeding to him in the first few years as they will with Portland Sky. He's a horse that would fit either of our operations. Widden Victoria has been in operation for just over 12 months now, and we've had a really great start down there. We're really enjoying and got great belief in the Victorian industry, as we do obviously in everything we're doing here in the Hunter and New South Wales. So there was a fair bit of pressure from the Victorian breeders to keep him down there because he raced in Victoria. But again, the Hunter breeders we spoke to, they were really keen to have, you know, a Group 1 winning son of Deep Field in a more affordable price range. There's a lot of demand for that type of horse in the Hunter as well. So we did spend a fair while deliberating, and he was a horse we could have stood very proudly in at either Widden Victoria or Widden here in the Hunter. But we just thought here in the Hunter he might get a bit more opportunity, and certainly all the guys who have had the Deep Field success can come back to him.
You know, the muscle and you know, Deep Field has that huge back end, and Portland Sky is the archetypal colonial stallion, which of course Widden has had so much success with.
Yeah, that tip of his nose to his tail, he's that just really sharp looking colonial sprinter. Lovely head and great jowl, lovely balance. You look at him, a strong forearm, a strong gasket, as you said, a lovely powerful hindquarter. As he walks away from you, you can see where he gets the speed and power from. A very clean, sound horse, and the Australian temperament that is so important as well. So, you know, when you look at him as a physical, he's got the attributes, everything you're really looking for. The big Group 1 tick alongside his name. He's by a stallion who's doing a great job, and I think he's very well priced. So we're going into the season, I think, you know, with a really good, strong lineup, and to add Portland Sky is a real thrill for us. He's a horse that's going to really be another great Widden stallion, and when we look at his profile, he certainly profiles like one.
A G1 Goldmine analysis of Portland Sky and nicks that have worked with his sire Deep Field show O'Reilly trending at 25% and Testarossa at 20%, albeit both with small numbers. Danehill line sires such as Rock of Gibraltar, Schwazier and his sire Danehill Dancer also work well. Deep Field sire, the influential Northern Meteor, shows a sideline nick with mares by Red Ransom at 12.5%, but also elusive quality commands Fastnet Rock and Redute's Choice, while female lines containing Dr. Grace and Rubiton have produced 9% stakes winners to runners.